I am on average 162, 23 pounds lost over 6 months. I complained that I had to spend too much money re-tailoring my suits. Off the pants, he had to take off 4 inches. You would think that this is not a suit that was bought by me for me. Definitely people started noticing, go out to a pool party, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, like Alex became jacked. What happened to you? I don't remember last time I saw my abs. I can see them now. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems.
State your name, where you live, and what you do for work.
Yeah. My name's Alex. I live in New York, and I'm an attorney, 32 years old. I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney for the past 5 years.
Awesome. So, explain your situation before joining the program. So, like, for example, the size clothes that you were wearing, the lifestyle overall in terms of what you're eating, your activity levels, just a general gist of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, before I started the program, I had some attempts of like, trying to get in shape and stuff like that. And so I had a personal trainer for like a year or so that I would do like 2 workouts a week to sort of, just kind of try to keep myself in shape, try to do running every now and then, like run 5K. But then, once the work got busy or once I had like some stuff going on, I would sort of either abandon that or kind of lower the number of workouts that I have per week, or I would sort of just kind of neglect that altogether because it's like you skip one and then you start to be like, oh, I skipped one, and then you sort of fallen into that kind of pitfall of sort of all or nothing. um and I mean, work, when the work gets busy, obviously can get enough steps, can sort of didn't track the steps, didn't really think about it at all. So it was just like normal, nothing too crazy, was trying to get in shape, would abandon it here and there. And then the weight would go up and down, depending on how active I am. Like if I'm into running, you know, for 3 months, all would drop down. And then once I stopped doing that, the weight would go up. And um, don't remember the size of clothing I was wearing, but it was definitely bigger than what I have now. I'll tell you that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I guess how long have you been prior to this been on
Yeah.
this journey of like ups and downs, of trying to get to
Yeah.
just really good shape?
Yeah. I mean, if I go, so yeah, sometimes I like when I go to my health app on my iPhone, I can see where I was tracking my weight. You can sort of pinpoint where it's like going up and down. So for the past 5 years, maybe it was like kind of like a up, down, up, down, up, down. And so you could sort of track where I was like doing some stuff more than other, and then sort of abandoning that.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so it's been like 5 years of going ups and downs.
Yeah.
And I guess being at your heaviest, which was 188 before starting this,
Yeah.
I guess when we first met, like, how did you feel being at your heaviest?
I mean, at that point, it was, I think it didn't really feel that nice. I think I was more frustrated with the fact that I couldn't stick to something, and it wasn't like that. The sort of the number on the scale wasn't really particularly what was troubling to me. It was more so like the inability to find something that I can do more consistently, and maybe because this is also, there's a lot of advice online. You go online, you see, different people tell you different things, and then you don't know what to do, and you sort of kind of jump between the different things. And so for me, it was more so the frustration was with the fact that I couldn't find something that I would stick to long enough, and that's going to be fairly easy to to follow without being, having to think too much, or having to be like at the gym 6 days a week, doing all of those crazy splits and you know, stuff like that. So, and that was part of what that was the main reason why I decided to do this program, was because I was looking for consistency. And I think accountability is another like point of it, because like I was the only person who was holding myself accountable, and I wasn't doing a good job at it. So put it this way.
Good self-reflection. most of- most guys are just like, oh, I'm just gonna keep doing it and doing it and not
Yeah.
quitting it. So it's good self-reflection on your end. So back then, I guess, what were some things that you were unable to do that you wished you could? Whether it be lifting, whether it been drawing up a program, like what were some things that were like just always couldn't figure out?
I think the program was probably like, what do I do at the gym? Say I go to the gym, what do I do? Right? Like it's because I know them like I understand the machines, I understand like what's all of that stuff, but how do you sort of build it up in a way that makes sense? Because again, it's you see all of these splits, but all of these splits, they're like you have to be there 5 days a week, and I don't know how to figure that out. And so it was. I think that was probably the biggest one for me. And I think, I mean, another thing was, which was a big thing that I didn't realize until we started, was like the sort of the protein intake. Because I think when we started and we looked at my protein, and it was like way, way, way low. It was shockingly low even to me. So that was, I think, another thing that I didn't really consider at the time, and just generally nutrition, because to me it was like you work out, that's like a means to, if I work out, I can sort of eat whatever I want. That was my sort of like thinking about it, without sort of realizing that there's a little more to that, than just like your calories,
I wish it was that easy. That'd
right?
be great.
Would be nice.
I would have been fat for like the first like 4 years of my journey if that were the case. I just ate healthy. It would be great. Um, yeah, absolutely. So then I guess now from there, right? I think the biggest things were what? Clarity. It was just clarity and then decision. It's like you just didn't want to make the decisions. You were just like, I just needed help. Like just give me what I need to do, why, and I'll do it.
Yeah, it was partially because if decisions, decisions is an interesting one, because again, having a personal trainer, they kind of, you go there, they give you the program, you sort of follow what they tell you, right? Like they in person one, but that sort of that ends there. Like you just sit there for like you do whatever you do for 2 days a week, 45, 50 minutes. That's it. They don't sort of do anything else. But they also don't explain how they build specifically, like why certain things are built, like why they sequence certain things certain way during the workout. So like they were thinking like for me, but also I didn't really understand why certain things were done certain way. And so I also wanted to understand how I could be like how can I build something for myself once I move
Yes.
on. For example, I'm done with the program, and then I sort of try to figure it out on my own. And so I wanted to understand that part as well.
Absolutely. Yes. This is always teaching. It's always teaching. Always, always,
Yeah.
always, always. Okay. So tell them, how did you find me or the company?
Yeah. So it was through my fiance, who knows you well, and she was following you on Instagram, and she saw all of these results, and I was kind of complaining to her about like, oh, I'm like doing this, I'm doing that, I can't really, like, I don't know, I just don't, I want to do something, but I don't know what to do. And she's like, look at Chris's page, like he's got good results, and like just go check it out, talk to him, see if you like it or not. And so I she was saying that to me for a couple of months, I think. Yeah, because I was like, let me try this, let me try that. And she's like, listen, go check it out, go check it out. So I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So then finally at some point I was like, all right, I'm gonna check it out. And then, I obviously saw the results, and other people who've done it before. And so I was like, all right, let me set it up, see set up a first call, see what you have in mind, and sort of the after that, I think the next day I signed up.
Yeah. 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 It's crazy how it goes, right? It's like I could try to do it. And then you're just like at that point, Um, I guess what were your initial thoughts going through the process? Even before signing up, like what was going on in your head in those like couple months that you were skeptical?
Yeah, I think it was like, again, it's like there was a little bit of a doubt in terms of just generally, is it just me trying to find another reason not to do something? Like another reason why I can't just do what I'm doing now? And like, is it me looking for like a magical solution or something that I'm like jumping from one thing to another? And so I think that's where the skepticism was coming from generally. And also, I mean, again, you see a lot of different people. You see like there's an abundance of information online generally, and all of these, TikToks and what have you, and you don't really know how, there's a natural like level of skepticism generally. Um, but I also didn't like I didn't know what to expect, and so I think that part was also like, you know, kind of what was making me a little bit of like, well, no, like, I'll try it on my own again. Like maybe it's gonna work this time, because it always does, right? When you do the same thing over and over again and hope for a different result. Uh, but yeah.
Okay. So then out of all that, right, I guess what made you say yes anyways on that call?
um, I think, well, first of all, I think it was like the amount of time that you spend on the very first call, just sort of going through just the basics without even like we didn't even sign up. We was just literally just talking about just, generally. And so we sort of the amount of time that you spend sort of walking through all of that. And I think to me, at that call, I think I realized that like nutrition is as important as like working out. And y- from the conversation, I gathered, which proved to be true, but I gathered that that was a big part of the program generally. So it's not just the workouts, but it's even more so the sort of the nutrition and the lifestyle adjustments that come with it.
Hmm. Absolutely. So I guess tell the viewers now where you are at now. So now you are at what weights? I guess clothing, just
Yeah.
anything to tell them where you are now.
Yeah, no. I mean, as you said, we started, I think it was like the heaviest was 188. I think the average was 186. Today, I am on average 162, which is what, 23 pounds lost over 6 months. And that's, we started in like, what is it, mid December. So right around Christmas. So we didn't really start like the dieting part or like the nutritional part in earnest until January. So it was, still December was still a little kind of plateaued, and then it started dropping like pound a week, pound and a half a week. So now it's 162. I complained that I had to spend too much money retailoring my suits because, and it's not like it was actually comical how big my suit was when I came into the tailor the other day. It was literally like on Friday, the guy literally said like off the pants he had to take off 4 inches because it was like it was crazy. It
Oh.
was I wish I took a picture because it was you would tell that you would think that this is not a suit that was bought by me for me. It was just that big. And so all of the shorts that I'm wearing, for example, from this summer, I bought like last summer or the summer before, they're again, like I see gaps, like they're big. I have to sometimes wear a belt because I don't really have the clothes to sort of wear yet. Still need to buy more for the summer, but like I have to wear sometimes like belts so just to make sure that that thing doesn't fall off my ass. Uh, um, and I mean, definitely people started noticing. My friends are like, oh, all of a sudden Alex became jacked or something like over like all of a sudden, you go out and like to a pool party and all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, like what happened to you? Like in a good way, obviously. Um, and yeah, I mean, generally feel better. Definitely can, feel like I can do like lift definitely heavier than I've lifted. Can definitely feel much stronger than I felt. And I think I'm at the point, like I think I'm at 162 is close to where I was like 15 years ago, I think. Last time I was I think 160 last time I was probably like 15 years ago when I was back, way back when.
That's high school. That's like, yeah, high school, middle school. Like, yeah, right around that general time frame. Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was, like, early 'cause it's, like, early yeah, around that time, I would say.
Yeah, and vastly different now with way more muscle.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely, I don't remember last time I saw my abs, so I think I can see them now, much more than I've ever been able to. Uh, and yeah, I mean, generally, it's definitely can see more muscle than even if I sometimes when I pull up the pictures from when I was like 165, for example, a couple of years ago when I was like doing just cardio or something, you can definitely see a much, you can see the difference because yes, you are 165, but also you don't really have much muscle. And then, 162, and then you have the muscle and you visible, which is visible. And, it's not like I have to even flex. It's literally you just can see it in the sort of relaxed state.
Just chilling with abs. Chilling. How's that? Well,
Yeah.
how does that all make you feel now? Like now, like in business, in life, like just what's like how does it make you feel that you're at this weight and easily can
Yeah.
maintain it?
I think it's like it's an interesting addiction because I feel like the more you get there, the more you want to keep going. So like for me, it's I definitely feel like I am more like I'm like my mind is more oriented towards like, oh, I want to be more healthier, make healthier decisions, make healthier choices. Obviously, I mean, feel definitely much more comfortable and confident. Like, you know, give an example, like I hated buying clothes. Now I don't, I try things that I probably wouldn't have bought or tried otherwise, just because I feel like they sit much better now. Um, and just getting people notice. So people noticing the change is definitely a good bump to my self esteem,
What
if
about
you
your
will.
fiance? What about your
Uh,
fiance? What she said?
I mean, she said she says that she's very proud of what I've accomplished over the past 6 months, and she's she's like, you inspired me, and you want me to sort of do that too, and so sort of get on that path, and she has been, and so we're doing it together. She's doing her program, I'm doing mine, but like we're doing it at the same time together, so we're on the same like, for example, cut, trying to sort of keep ourselves accountable, each other accountable as well. Um, yeah, so that's all positive, and like I said, it's like it's very addictive. Because now, and because it's also not really that, yeah, you have to obviously put in the work, you have to go in the gym, you have to do, you have to sort of follow the program, obviously, but at some point it just becomes much easier and more natural. And so the obvious that there's less friction now than it is, for example, like at the beginning, and so naturally because of that, it's just much easier to sort of continue down that path.
Hmm. Absolutely. That's how this is built too. For people that
Yeah.
don't understand this, is like I built this off of behavioral psychology because I was like always trying to fight. I was always like, oh, you have to do this from the beginning, and like got out of school so that I think when when you guys come along and you're like, hey, I've tried this, and I'm like, yeah, you guys doing too much or whatever. Like it's just too much of the wrong thing, and I'm
Yeah.
like doing the opposite way. I think we started off, and it was like, yeah, I was telling you to only do 2 workouts, and you fought for 3, and then eventually
Yeah.
you're like, and then eventually you're like, all right, I could definitely stick. Okay, there's a holiday. It's like you can take maintenance. You're like, no, I want to do it. I'm like, okay, well, like, all right,
Yeah, I
cool.
mean, there's this book. It's called Atomic Habits, and this guy, there's like this one quote that stuck with me. It's like you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And I
Yes.
think that's the part where I think the program helped me a lot because I always knew that there is something like there's a baseline, and like there's the systems that we sort of built together over the 6 months, like nutrition wise, workouts, what to do when you can't do certain things, like how to supplement things, like things like that that sort of are just there, and reduce the friction of sort of being able to get you know to do certain things to stay on track. And I think I found it the most helpful when you know work has been super busy last month, and is, I could only do like 2 workouts a week, and, I couldn't get my steps in, but at least I knew that I need to hit my protein goals, and so I know, like, I have in the fridge, I have, like, Greek yogurt or whatever. So I have, like, all of those systems in place, and I know that I can maintain, through the tough times. Maybe I can't cut that specific week, but at least I'm not falling for the same, all right, now I'm gonna binge eat, now I'm gonna, like, eat some crap and feel even worse about myself, that type of stuff. So
Mhm. Absolutely. And well, I mean, you visit, your parents, or, mother a lot. Has she said anything about this entire journey?
you know how moms are, right? They're always like, "Oh, you're like, oh, you're so skinny, you're so like, you don't." I'm like, "Come on."
Yeah, it's funny because I think, we're the other way too, right? You put on a little bit of, like, 10 pounds and you're like, "Oh, you're so
Yeah.
fat now. What happened?"
Exactly, exactly. No, but I
Fair enough.
mean, it's, yeah, I mean, my brother definitely is noticing too. It's like, now he's making fun of me. I was like, "You huge now, like, Alex, you're so huge now." Like, it's yeah, exactly.
All good problems to have. Uh,
Uh,
well, I
yeah.
guess the last question for you then would be, what would you tell somebody who's watching this right now and is unsure about taking the next step?
I think that, I mean, I was in your shoes, and I probably could have done it a couple of months earlier, and would probably be, farther along in my journey. So I don't think you should hesitate, the same way that I hesitated, because I mean, it's something, as skeptical as I was at the beginning, I am super grateful that I started this, and I'm continuing sort of down this path. And as you know, Chris, we extended for another, significant amount of time. I think, what is it, a year?
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep going. So I'm super excited to keep going, and I think it's definitely, if for a person looking for like a, not like a one-stop shop, but like for a person looking to improve both the sort of the nutritional side and the lifting side, I think that's the right program,
All
especially
right.
when life gets busy.
Yeah. Well, that's like that's the entire point because I think everybody thinks that they can do it perfectly when everything's
Yeah,
perfect, but what
yeah.
happens when it's not perfect? And I think that's where we all, like including myself, had binged or had gone off track or et cetera, et cetera.
Literally happened to me last year. Yeah, it was, started last year, was, all nice and smooth, and, doing my own thing, whatever. And then in summertime, super busy, like slammed with work, nothing, can't really do much. And all went downhill to a point where it became like 188, when we first met.
Wow. So that's the true start, huh? So it was hot, and then it was like
Yeah,
this, and then
yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay. I didn't know that at all. Well, let's put it this way. So Alex, yeah, Alex is down 23 pounds. I mean, in terms of strength numbers, he's up at least, we're talking at least 6 pounds of muscle. Like that's bare minimum. I'm only gonna give you a conservative number here. And he is now able to go to do a chin up. I'm gonna look up his actual numbers from before, but I'm pretty sure it was a plus 60 to start in terms of weight minimum for the pull
Oh,
ups.
the oh yeah, it was more than that. It was like, I think I started at like 100, and
Oh yeah?
yeah, yeah, no, it was definitely 100, and then it slowly started going down, but it was, and I think for like even like what is it, the triceps ones that you do like
Yeah.
assisted,
Dips.
yeah, dips, right. I also started assisted. I think it was like at 80 or something, and then I'm able to do unassisted for like 10 reps.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Who would have thought?
Yeah. Yeah, and 2 plate deadlifts too. Don't forget that.
Oh yeah. I mean, over over 2 plate deadlifts. So yeah,
Yeah.
he's basically cleared all the numbers across the board. And yeah, this is only 6 months, so just wait for another 12 months of absolutely crushing it. So mark it now. So it's June 15th. So I think by another 12 months, it's going to be like 5 pounds heavier. It's 5, 6 pounds heavier, same leanness. So
Oh,
that's, yes, if not leaner, because you have more muscle
all
on your
right.
frame. So mark that down. It's said here. So it is on YouTube and everywhere else. But
Yeah.
all right, you crushed it.